Welcome to Outdoors Radio with Dan Small, your source for the latest hunting and fishing information.
Thanks for joining us on Outdoors Radio. I'm Dan Small. A lot of folks are looking forward to open water fishing, especially on our two Great Lakes. That's where a lot of open water fishing happens. And joining me now for an update on Lake Michigan are two DNR biologists. We have Brad Eggold, who's the Great Lakes District Fisheries Supervisor, and Todd Kalish, who is the Wisconsin DNR Fisheries Deputy Bureau Director. And I think I got both you guys on the line, so thanks for joining us, Todd and Brad.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
I've talked to both of you before, and I guess I'll just throw out this first question. How are things looking for Lake Michigan for this coming year, for this open water season?
We're very optimistic of a really good fishery. We had a pretty solid fishery in 2022. Coho salmon was especially strong and vibrant in the early part of the season and made its way up pretty far up the coast. And we had a lot of solid, fishing going on for the other salmon and trout as well. And, we have pretty good expectations and outlook for the 23 fishing season. So we encourage people to get out there, whether you're fishing from a boat or shore or stream fishery, and take part in this excellent fishery.
And as you know, I have done that a lot, especially with Dumper Dan Welsh out of Sheboygan, and before that out of Milwaukee with Jack Remus years ago, and some other captains up and down the lake. Things have changed in recent years. There's a lot of natural reproduction coming from the Michigan side primarily. How has that impacted the fishery?
We definitely have learned a lot about natural reproduction, particularly in Chinook salmon these last 10 years. And, what we're finding is that the summer composition of Chinook, pretty much no matter where you're fishing from, whether it's from a Michigan port or Kenosha or Door County, in May, June, July, August, and even the first part of September, we're all enjoying a mixed population of fish being caught out there in terms of Chinook salmon that is comprised of, Wisconsin stocks, Michigan stocks, and predominantly natural reproduced Chinook salmon, in the 60% range. And that really, as you noted, is coming from primarily Michigan streams or potentially coming in through Lake Huron as well.
Are you still marking all the Chinook fry that are being released with the coated wire tags?
Prior to about 2 or 3 years ago, we were still adipose fin clipping and also putting a microchip tag or coated wire tags into these fish. Right now, we've transitioned over to steelhead, and we've been doing mostly coated wire tagging marking for steelhead, and we're just adipose fin clipping the Chinook salmon. There are a few lots of Chinook salmon that still get coated wire tags, but as far as the tags, we've transitioned over to rainbow steelhead.
Okay, and that's going to give you an idea of how much natural reproduction there is in steelhead?
Yeah, I'm really excited about, the information that we learned on Chinook salmon through this mass marking program is just astounding, and I think it's probably one of the better science projects that I've been involved with, and just the amount of data information we've gotten from that program with the extreme help from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Great Lakes Fishery Commission has been incredible. And we're going to learn as much about steelhead and maybe even more because we have a variety of steelhead strains that each agency is stocking, and that's going to give us an indication in terms of, the performance of those strains, as well as how we stock fish in Wisconsin. Primarily, we are stocking in large rivers and smaller rivers, and I think we're going to learn a lot about that kind of fishery produced and really fine-tune our stocking program at the end of this coated wire tag marking for steelhead.
Great. And I heard that you're going to be stocking coaster brook trout now as well.
Well, right now, with our stocking plan that we've been working on since 2020, we've been stocking domestic brook trout in Milwaukee and Manitowoc to the tune of 50,000 total in 20, 21, and 22, and we have it on the mark for 23. And we're seeing and evaluating what kind of fishery those brook trout are supplying to the fisher through a harvest and effort study.
Why are they called coasters for people who don't know?
Well, right now, like I said, we're using domestic fish from our St. Croix fish hatchery. The term coaster brook trout really came from Lake Superior, where you see these fish move up and down the coast. We haven't used those fish yet. We're looking into that, but we're still using our domestic strain of brook brook trout for this endeavor right now.
Okay. Are people catching many? I don't hear many reports, at least not from the trollers.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of positive response, primarily from river anglers in the Milwaukee River. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a lot of comments, Facebook posts, a lot of photos being shared with us in terms of people catching these brook trout. So it's definitely providing a localized fishery there, and we're looking at evaluating it on a more holistic level as we get more years into the program. Okay.
Well, now, I understand you took 3 million Chinook eggs last fall. What's the status of those eggs now, and what's the plan for whatever is going to hatch from them, or has hatched already?
Yeah, we took our normal and maybe a little bit above normal allotment of Chinook eggs from primarily our Strawberry Creek Weir facility. They're currently in the eye up and fry stage right now, so we don't have an exact number right now, still in the formative stages of some of the early development of these fish, and that's part of what we're going to discuss on Monday.
Right. We'll get to the Monday meeting in just a second. I have one more question about young Chinooks, though. You used net pens last year in Sheboygan to release those fish when they were ready to go out into Lake Michigan. Are you going to do that again this year?
Yeah, we've been working with collaborators, primarily fishing clubs up and down the shoreline, on using what's called net pens, which is essentially about a 6-foot by 20 to 24 foot long, 6-foot diameter pen that's made out of net material. And there's various clubs up and down the shoreline that are using these net pens for a couple of different things. One, they're holding Chinook salmon in these pens for 2 to 3 weeks. They're feeding them, and the idea here is to get them to a larger size, as well as trying to improve survival and homing back to the ports that they're using the net pens in. So we have net pens. We've used them in Gills Rock, Algoma, Kewaunee, Sheboygan, Milwaukee, Racine, and now Kenosha. We're still in the evaluation stage. We're probably going to come out with an evaluation on how the efficacy of these net pens have worked, primarily in the route in the Kewaunee River, where we're utilizing our weirs for the return. That report should be finalized here in the next 2 or 3 months. We are still working with clubs this year, and I'm sure most of the clubs I mentioned a moment ago are going to be working with us on putting Chinook salmon into these net pens.
All right. Well, you mentioned, or we've mentioned the meeting. There's a meeting Monday night, the 23rd. Tell us about that. Brad or Todd, one of you.
Sure. Yeah, we have another stakeholder informational meeting about Lake Michigan and all the management and initiatives that we've been working on and we want to continue working on, any new ideas. And that meeting starts at 6 o'clock at Lakeshore Technical College. We do have a link for sign-ups. It's a Zoom link, so either you can tell us that you're going to be in person or you want to join by Zoom, so there's 2 options there. It will take either form of a participation, and we want to get the word out to as many people, whether you're a big-time angler, maybe a weekend warrior, or a charter fisherman, charter customer, stream, boat, pier, whoever you are out there fishing. We'd love to hear from you and join the meeting as best you can and learn about what's going on and provide input and comments and direction for the future.
Fantastic. We'll mention that again at the end of the show because I know you guys have a meeting you got to get to here. There's one last thing. There's apparently a marketing plan to promote fishing that's in the works, and I don't know if there's more you can say about that at this point, or if that's something we should talk about on a future conversation.
Yeah, maybe I'll let Todd answer that one.
Yeah, we can cover it briefly. Yeah, so and as was already mentioned, Wisconsin is really a premier destination for Lake Michigan and Lake Superior fishing. And, in order to sustain and enhance that fishery, the DNR can't do it alone. We have to work with diverse partners and, stakeholders and academia and groups throughout the Lake Michigan and Lake Superior region to really promote the fishery and work on enhancing the fishery. And one of the things we're really excited about is we're working on developing a grant. This is going to be right around just a $1 million grant opportunity to enhance Lake Michigan and Lake Superior outreach and education for 2023. And we really believe that this will be the foundation of showcasing the premier fishing destination, the premier fishing opportunities we have in Lake Michigan and Lake Superior. So we're really excited. We're going to be initiating this initiative, likely within the next month or so. And then we also have a really unique opportunity and initiative where we're working with the UW Green Bay and UW Whitewater to conduct a comprehensive assessment of the economic value of commercial, guide, sport trolling, and sport fishing in Lake Michigan, because I think as a lot of people know, the fishing industry in Wisconsin is a big economic driver. It generates more than $12.5 million in state and local tax revenue. It provides almost 2,000 jobs and produces over $185 million in economic activity annually. But we're working with those great universities to get a better handle on the real and the true economic value of fishing in Wisconsin. So those are two definitions we're really excited about, on tap for 2023.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear more about that as that program gets rolling. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. I know your time's limited, and it's been great having you both on here, and we'll talk again soon.
Great. Glad to be on.
Thanks a lot for having us.
You bet. Todd Kalish, Wisconsin DNR Fisheries Deputy Bureau Director, and Brad Eggold, Great Lakes District Fisheries Supervisor, both with the DNR. I'm Dan Small. You are listening to Outdoors Radio.